Speaker, public companies have something called a blackout period on the sale of shares by officers and directors. Those decision makers are forbidden from selling shares in their own company in the immediate lead up to quarterly earnings results, even when analysts or even the company itself have widely and accurately predicted what those results will be. In light of that corporate standard, which the minister should know, would it not have been more appropriate for him to wait until after the introduction of his tax measures before he sold his shares in Morneau Shepell?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think it's important to remind what's the tax measure in question. It's something that we announced during the campaign, that we campaigned on for 78 days, thanks to the previous government's long, never-ending campaign, where we said that we would raise taxes on the wealthiest 1%, on the personal income of the wealthiest 1%, to reduce it for 9 million Canadians. This was the least best secret in town. We told the media, we told Canadians we'd come back in Ottawa in December to do just that. And if the member opposite would care to read his own local newspaper, in the Ottawa Citizen, November 6, 2015, our priority is to get the tax reduction in place as quickly as possible, adding that the government's goal...
The Honourable Member for Carleton.
Yes, and the platform that they put out said that the tax measure would come in place April 1st, the beginning of the next fiscal year. So nothing is certain until it's actually tabled on the floor of the House of Commons. But even if it was widely predicted, when corporate earnings are widely predicted and even forecasted by the company itself, the leaders of those companies, officers and directors, are forbidden from selling shares in the immediate lead up to the release of those formal documents. That is a basic corporate standard. All I'm asking is why this minister would not hold himself to that same standard in this office.
Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And again, I'll finish because I think I was cut off the article in the Ottawa Citizen, November 6, 2015. Our objective is to have the middle-class tax cut in place for January 1st. Mr. Speaker, there has never been any secret in our plan to tax the wealthiest 1% and reduce taxes for the middle class. There is absolutely the accusations that the opposition are trying to make are completely baseless, and the fact that they don't dare to repeat them outside the House show to great certainty that they have nothing to back them up, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
The Honourable Member for Carleton.
Well, let's talk about this famous tax policy. Well, this minister made sure to sell his shares before his tax increases took effect so that he wouldn't have to pay any of the taxes that he was imposing on others. But you know who is paying more now? People suffering with diabetes. And now we learn people suffering with autism are losing the disability tax credit, a tax increase of $1,500 for families who are suffering with great hardship. Why is it that whenever Liberals raise taxes, they always target those with the least?
The Honourable Minister of Revenue. The government committed that the NGD agency would apply tax credits fairly and accessibly. I announced the consultative committee on disabled persons. That committee was dissolved under the previous Conservative government in 2006. By re-establishing this committee, we will now be able to increase access to services on the part of the Canada Revenue Agency.